Hey guys, Shiff here. I'm here with WavyDuder, one of the top producers in Cleveland. For you guys that know him, I mean, he's worked with some big names, Cassidy King, Freshie, Cap. I mean, he's been with a lot of big names. I'm very excited. Thank you for giving me the time to sit down with us. I know we've had plenty of time on our hands with all this quarantine, but I mean, you've been busy, very busy right now.
Just locked in right now, bro. It's just insane. Just working on different things for myself, trying to improve, be better. A better me, a better overall producer, just learning different tools and programs and plugins and connecting and
all types of stuff. We're gonna get in there, man.
It's wild right now. Crazy.
No, I mean, you've been around the music scene a long time, but I mean, before we get into all that, like you've seen some crazy things. You've been around a lot of crazy atmospheres. I mean, you've seen stuff a lot of like people haven't got to see. I mean, if I was tuning in, that's like what I want to see, and you got all these stories up in your head, so I can't wait to crack into those and kind of get into.
I've never told any of them, man. This is the first time, and who better than with my guy? You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. Well, salute, my dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Italian.
We'll drink it. Yeah, Italiano.
Okay, yeah, start there.
Okay,
let's go.
So I attended it.
What's your favorite concert that you ever attended?
I gotta say this. I'm gonna give it to, we'll say, Rock on the Range. 2000, I would say 16 or 17. Me and my boy Basil, Baze XX.
Shout out Baze.
Shout out Baze, great producer, all around great guy. We said fuck it and we road trip to Columbus and we knew some homies and we got on some guest lists and we went to Rock on the Range day of. Okay. And I got to see Linkin Park live.
Wow.
And it blew my skull. I was a big fan of Linkin Park growing up. Nu metal had a not to say that they're nu metal, but I grew up on nu metal and punk rock and stuff like that, and emo music, but something about them stuck to me long term.
Sure.
So seeing them live finally in front of 50,000 people in the stadium was just nuts. And then I got to see Slipknot right after, which was insane. Shout out my boy Sid from Slipknot. Unreal show, great guys, just unreal. But I would say that show, I was literally just a music fan and a drummer, a basement drummer. That was just drumming the covers.
You're a drummer?
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that. I was a drummer.
I didn't know that. That's one of my friends. That's one of my homies. I didn't know that.
So I started playing drums when I was, I would say 11. And
who put the sticks in your hands? Shout him out.
My uncle Joey.
Okay.
Was in a big band in the city called Liquid, and they pretty much paved the way for my whole music career. Watching him, just really just molded me into knowing what I wanted without knowing it, obviously.
How young were you when you were like watching these guys?
I mean, he brought me on stage when I was like 6. There's pictures of this that are out there. I'm sure they'll surface sometime, but I'm standing on stage as Shooters while he's performing live, and I'm 6 years old with this curly fro and this Fila outfit, and it's just wild. And it's crazy to think about that. Fast forward, that's the route I chose in life.
We need to get pictures of that, by the way.
Well,
we need pictures of that. Whoever has them, send them, please.
Probably my family. We'll see. But yeah, man, I drummed at an early age. I had played every venue but CSU and the Q by the age of 15. So from 11 to 15, I was in bands growing up, just whether it was a cover band or a punk rock band or just a rock band in general. It was just something that I was passionate about, but I was always involved in school and sports, you know, and that was what I was supposed to do, school and sports.
Did you do well in sports?
Did really well in sports.
How about school?
School, not too much. Sports, yes. School was just the criteria for me to play sports.
Sure. I knew you played sports. I knew you were very good. You were being looked to be drafted by the Braves and I want to say the Mariners.
The Mariners.
Tried
out for them in high school.
Okay, wait. So like trying out for professional baseball to then working with the biggest names in the industry, how did that happen? Where did that transition happen?
A dark period of life and a lot of soul searching and figuring out how to be a man by myself, and a lot of transitions I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to. It's November of 2005 or 2004, going into 5, and I'm getting ready to wake up from OTAs, or getting ready to wake up to OTAs, which is
I know what OTA is.
Right.
Most people
which
don't.
Is normal for football, but baseball had it too.
Okay.
So it was like early morning grind outs, throwers, pitchers, catchers type stuff.
Yeah.
And I walk downstairs and I go to wake my mom up for practice, and I was late. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Yo, Mom, I'm late. We gotta go." So I leave the room. I don't hear her say anything. So I walk back in the room and I'm just like, "Mom." And then I shake her, and she is non-responsive at all. And it's, I didn't know what to do at the time. I just kept shaking her and nothing happened. And I took my brother and sister next door to the neighbor's house, and I called the ambulance and tried to figure out what happened. And I get to the hospital, and they had tell me that she had passed away.
I'm sorry, bro.
So that moment, my entire life changed completely.
Immediately.
And, me being the busybody that I am, is what she always called me. I still went to school the same day, and I left the hospital, went to school. I was like, "Fuck it, she want me to go to school. I'm going to school," you know. And all my friends caught wind of what happened, and there's this entire group of 30 people just crying in the hallway, and just crazy shit. And I thought at the time that baseball was going to be my thing. I need to grind harder.
Right.
Something about that.
So you dug in.
I dug in, but the training was different. The at-bats were weird. My mind was everywhere.
Sure.
I didn't have my best season my senior year. I lost my scholarship to Syracuse.
So that was like a really tough time in your life.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean to
Definitely.
pry, but I mean that's like a
No, you're
dark
good.
time in your life. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, was it hard to cope with? Like, was it a
Well,
quick transition? Like, tell me, like,
It was rough.
I'm just
I had
curious.
to grow up. I had to grow up really quick.
Okay.
And what it did was I was lucky enough to get a scholarship with Lake Erie College in Painesville.
Okay.
And I got to go play baseball there, and got a year in. I was more worried about partying and substance abuse than anything, and I just, after a year and a half, I left. I dropped out, and I got home, and I did some soul searching, and I said, what really put a smile on my mom's face? And it was me playing drums.
Okay.
And after a long time, I figured it out, and I was in a bunch of bands from then on, and I was in a band called the Manhattan Scene, and we did really well. There was record deals at the table, and everything just never worked out. And I finally just said, I need to do this for myself. So
Sure.
I just picked up a controller and an old HP computer and bought Reason and figured it out, and tried to work with what I had, and knew I wanted to do music but didn't know how to do any of this, but I just did it.
So that's kind of, I'm literally like, things are running through my mind right now. So
Yeah.
you literally just pick it up and you're like, I'm a music guy now.
Yeah, I pretty much, there was a point after the band didn't get the record deal that I was like, I need to do this bigger, but I can't do it in this band.
Okay. So there became a point where
And there's
you
no hard
realized-
feelings with me and the band. Me and the band are fine.
Okay.
Most of my best friends since I was 15. But just, I needed to do this. I need to
Sure,
figure out
sure.
for myself.
Okay.
But it'll
So it takes a little more than just a
you
good
gotta have
program.
effort, man. You gotta really dive into your inner self, and you gotta really want it, man.
So let me
If you
ask you,
don't-
what's like the hardest thing, like for you personally? Like right now, if you're going, you got to go make a beat right this second. What's the hardest part of the process for you when you're doing it? And I know that's going to be different for everyone, but like for you personally, what is yours?
That's a really good question. If I had to answer off the top of my head, I would probably say finding the time to really figure out what the artist needs or wants in their track. If I'm making a track from scratch, I'm not thinking of an artist, it's a different story. If it's that route, it's okay, when do I bring the drums in? I'm a big fan nowadays of building the song completely until drums hit. Because
Okay.
for me, drums is the easiest part.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm building
we know
everything-
why now.
Now you know
Now
why,
we know
right?
why.
I'm building everything else into that scenario.
Okay.
So whether it's layering out synths or compressing leads or putting in filler, even small percussion just to take away the metronome, like stuff like that, like it's figuring out your own niche in your
Okay.
own way. So if I was going to give advice to anybody, it would be just figure out your way to tie in what's happening right now in music and what you hear in your head. Because there is a halfway medium.
I was gonna say you got to be creative, otherwise we've already heard it.
It's all art, man. It's something that you have to believe in. And if you don't think you can do it, then just do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a profession for everybody. It's really not. And
So you don't
trust me,
take offense from people doing it that aren't the best. Like you don't take.
No.
I like that though.
No, I can't. I actually encourage a lot of people to just figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, everybody asks me in my DMs, how do I do what you're doing? How do I make this? Well, how did you hear that guitar in F minor clash with C major? Where did you hear that?
Yeah.
And it's trial and error, man. You know,
9
you
years
can ask
into it.
You can ask my manager, man. I'm sitting back in my house 5-6 hours a day, just grinding in my head of what makes sense.
Would you say it's second nature for you now?
Becoming slowly easier is what
Okay.
I would say now.
Okay.
I wouldn't say second nature yet. When it is second nature, we're gonna
Watch
be having
out.
a whole other fucking
Watch out.
conversation.
Yeah, we'll be having another
Promise
interview.
that.
So I guess like now we're talking about like what you enjoy. You respected both people's sound. What is like the most rewarding thing for you working with an artist? Like, is it discovering the sound, the start, or is it the whole process? I mean, what is it that really gets you interested
I
in it
love the
with it?
process.
Okay, process guy.
But I would say the halfway meeting point between my vision of when I created the beat
Sure.
to the artist figuring out what their vision is of the future of the beat.
Yeah,
When those do coincide,
yeah.
it is a beautiful feeling because I have a voice
Okay.
in it more than I do if I need to push it on them, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm all for pushing an artist outside their bubble. But when we lock halfway, it's
You just know. You instantly know this is
my
the
favorite
one.
record. So my favorite records to the date that I've done it's been that scenario.
So like, there's a lot of big names that like you personally know. I don't think people understand how connected the music industry really is. Even from Cleveland, Ohio, I mean, you have roots all over the place.
It's like the saying goes, it's a small world, and I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have my journeys cross paths with people who are at the top of their game
Yeah.
right now and are pretty much controlling some parts of the music.
So who are
industry.
you looking out for right now, producer-wise?